Alright, so now that we have learned some vocabulary, we can dive into our articles. And you may have noticed in our vocabulary, all of our words begin with either el or la. And that is because el and la both mean the in Spanish. There are actually 4 different ways to say the. We have our singular masculine version, el, our singular feminine version, la, our plural masculine version, los, and then our plural feminine version, las. We're going to start by just looking at our masculine and feminine singular words for the, and then we'll move on to looking at plurals. So in Spanish, every single noun in the Spanish language has a gender, and if that gender is a masculine gender, we use el, and if it is a feminine noun, we use la. So, how do you know if a word is masculine or feminine? The short answer is you just have to memorize it, but there are some tricks that will help us learn whether nouns are masculine or feminine. In general, words that end in O are masculine and words that end in A are feminine. And words that end in shun, C-I-O-N, tend to be feminine, while words that end in L, N, or R tend to be masculine, but there are some exceptions to those rules that you will need to memorize. So let's start by looking at just some nouns that end in O and A, so it's a little easier for you to tell if they should begin with el or la. So I'm going to give you some words, and you are going to tell me if they are masculine or feminine, and which article they should begin with. So let's start with pollo. So notice pollo ends in O, so we know it's masculine, so we can say el pollo, the chicken. What about ensalada? So ensalada ends in A, so we know it's feminine. We can say la ensalada, the salad. Alright, now it's your turn to practice. I'm going to give you 3 words and you are going to tell me if they should begin with el or la. Our first word is queso. So should we say el queso or la queso? Our next word is huevo. El o la. And our last word is hamburguesa. El o la. Alright, so queso and huevo both end in O, so we know we will say el queso and el huevo. Hamburguesa ends in A, so we can say la hamburguesa. Alright, so now that we know how to use el and la, we're going to move on to los and las. And we use los and las when our nouns are plural. And it's easy to tell if a noun is plural because it's exactly the same as English. If it ends in S, it is plural, and if it does not, it is singular. So if I said pollos, notice it ends in S, so we know it is plural. And we can say los pollos. What about ensaladas? Because it ends in AS, we know it is plural, so we can say las ensaladas. Notice the gender never changes. Pollo is still masculine, los pollos. Ensalada is still feminine, las ensaladas. It's just our number that changes. So let's do some practice. I'll give you 3 words and you will tell me if they should begin with the singular article el or la or the plural article los or las. So let's start with quesos. Should we say el quesos or los quesos? What about huevo? El huevo o los huevos? Y hamburguesas. La hamburguesas o las hamburguesas. So we just need to look at our endings. Quesos ends with S, so we know it is los quesos, right? Our plural, the. Huevo was singular, it just ended in O, el huevo. And hamburguesas, also plural, las hamburguesas.